Hi, I'm Dr. Carmen Imes, Associate Professor of Old Testament at Biola University's Talbot School of Theology. Welcome back for another Torah Tuesday. We're continuing our study of the Ten Commandments, and today we're in Exodus chapter 20, verse 16. You must not answer as a false witness against your neighbor. Now, this is a command that people often summarize as, you shall not lie. But that's a little more generic than what is warranted by this formulation. There is lying on occasion in the Bible with God's approval when the lying accomplishes God's will by protecting the innocent or protecting those who are on God's mission. So I'm thinking here of Rahab in Joshua chapter 2, who hides the spies and lies about their whereabouts. Or in 1 Kings 22, when we see that God put a deceiving spirit in the mouths of the prophets, telling the king what he wanted to hear. This is a rebellious king who had already shown repeatedly that he was unwilling to do what God willed. And so God uses lying prophets to accomplish his judgment against the king. We also see this with the midwives in Exodus 1, who lie to Pharaoh about the Israelites giving birth. This command in the Decalogue is a more specific formulation, a more specific form of deception with legal implications. Deuteronomy 19:18 lays out the consequences for false witness. If someone is found to testify against a fellow Israelite by lying about them, and the judges find this out, then the consequences that would have come on the accused will come on the accuser, the one making false accusation. This command in Exodus 20 is not just saying don't bear false witness, like don't say something false, but don't be a false witness. Don't be the kind of person who tells lies about other people and destroys their reputation. The reason this cannot be tolerated is because it erodes mutual trust in a community, and it results in unjust decisions with consequences that are significant for the accused. The laws of Hammurabi also prohibit false witness, the first 4 laws of Hammurabi's code, and both of these point to the fact that a person's reputation is a weighty thing. To slander someone robs them of credibility and disrupts the social network that's built on mutual trust. I think it's worth saying, though, that the reverse is also true. That is, a refusal to listen to someone's true testimony about a friend or family member who has done wrong. And we don't want to believe that this person that we knew could have done such a terrible thing. And so there can be a reverse tendency, which is also just as problematic, to discredit true testimony because it's saying something or presenting us with evidence we don't want to believe. And there are plenty of stories in the Bible that can illustrate this, but the one that comes to my mind is the one at the end of the book of Judges. In Judges chapter 20, the Israelites are trying to deal with the aftermath of what has been a terrible and brutal rape and dismemberment of the Levites' concubine by the men of Gibeah, who are Benjamites. And the whole nation gathers together. They bring the charges against the men who raped her to death. And the Benjamites, and they say to the Benjamites, turn over these men who have done this terrible thing. And the Benjamites say, nope, you can come get them yourself. And they go to war against the rest of Israel because they refuse to believe the testimony that's been given, or because they refuse to agree that this is a terrible thing that has been done. And so they double down and protect the perpetrators rather than bringing about justice for the victim. Either one of these responses, to bear false testimony or to refuse to believe true testimony, are terrible miscarriages of justice. And the Bible makes very clear that God is not pleased when we do not tell the truth or when we refuse to believe the truth. these are sober words for us to consider today. Although we are many thousands of years removed from the giving of the Ten Commandments, we see that our society today is still built on mutual trust, and it still depends on a network of trust between human beings, and that our testimony about each other carries a lot of weight, and we need to choose our words very carefully. So on that note, I hope that you have a great week.